What's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again, coming at you with another Dislyte video. And in today's video, I want to give you guys something special. I wanted to start a little bit of like an influencer series, connecting with the influencers in the Dislyte community and giving you guys a heads up on everything related to them when it comes to this game here. So without question, I want to start out with one of the fastest growing Dislyte YouTubers on our platform here, Mr. Daddy Free to Play. Daddy Free to Play, how are we doing today, bud?
Hey man, I'm good. How are you? You're actually like one of my heroes. Way back when I started on Summoners War.
Yeah,
Legit. Not even
yeah.
capping.
It's crazy to hear this from you because again, guys, we have this interview planned out for you, and I cannot even begin to describe how excited I am to listen to some of the stories because again, for those of you guys that met Daddy Free to Play through this game. This is not the first game that he played. We got a lot of history between us and some of the mobile gacha games that we played in the past here. But again, I don't want to take anything away. No spoilers here. Let's just go ahead and get right into it, man. So again, Daddy Free to Play, aka Free to Play, by the way. Give us a little bit of background story on your journey to YouTube, the games that you played, and essentially how did you find your way into the Dislyte community?
Right. So, I mean, like you mentioned before, we have a bit of history in games that were very similar to Dislyte. So, well, obviously, I started in Summoners War as well, but I didn't start off as a content creator. But it has always been something that I thought about a lot, like to play and to make money at the same time. I think that was like a very interesting thought to, well, a lot of the players back then, right? Yeah, so I only started dabbling back then when I started covering Calibria, and that was when I realized that I have a lot of information that I want to share, but I do not know how to effectively do it. So before that, I actually used to do like Excel spreadsheets and upload it onto Reddit, but Reddit is Reddit, and I'm not very
Right.
fond of Reddit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so eventually I realized that by making videos, especially on Calibria, it shows that I mean it proved to me that there were some people who were really very clueless about the game, and that the general like the general population tend to have a lot of questions that are quite simple at times, which
I
and
do.
I feel like YouTube is probably the best way to express myself, without having to put everything down onto like a piece of Word document or an Excel spreadsheet to share your whatever that you wanted to share. But yeah, so you mentioned like free to play, by the way, right? So before that, that was actually my name, and it started off as a joke because I spend in games. I always spend in games, but I just found it very hilarious that like there were players who had the free to play tag in their names. So that just became my thing. Like I just tagged my name with like free to play,
Right.
but I'm never ever free to play.
Right.
So that's about it. Yeah, eventually changed my name to Daddy Free to Play because Dislyte already had someone who was called Free to Play, by the way. But by the way,
The whole talk about free to play, by the way, that's always been kind of a meme too, right? When it comes to various games you play, regardless of how good your account is or how many units you got, the one tagline that everyone put is, I'm free to play, by the way. They gotta let everybody know that, it's so free to play, it's so important to get it. So it was always funny to see that and just kind of how you use it, incorporate it into your name, into your brand. So yeah, definitely down with that. One of the things that I wanted to touch base on when it comes to this game, just your overall knowledge. I think we can say without question that you're one of the more knowledgeable people in the game. You obviously take the time to really provide a really well thought out video. As your approach is really sound. And I wanted to know, you actually have, you started originally on the Honor server. How much experience did you have on the Honor server and like the soft launch or whatnot getting into this game?
okay, so currently today, if my memory serves me well, I am 147 days in, which is honestly not much. So I am definitely not one of the most experienced players in this game. Okay, I probably take a bit of time to delve into mechanics. So like for example, like speed and how speed works, and like figuring out that there were like decimal places to your speed stat, for example. So I did a lot of like this kind of like mini tests and all that. So I would say that I put in more effort into discovering things, but in terms of general game knowledge, I'm I'll definitely say that I am not one of the most experienced players in this game. And the Honor server has a lot of people who have much more experience than me. Yeah, that's for sure.
So what you're doing is you're taking a page out of my book, trying to be as modest as all heck when, 99% of the people check you out when it comes to learning all the ins and outs of this game. I get you. I get you. Don't worry about that. It's cool. Gotta look good. Gotta look good. No. Okay,
I'm not modest. It's the
yeah.
truth.
Let's break away from just Dislyte in general. When it comes to, video games in general, like I'm a video gamer through and through. While I focus on mobile gotcha games right now, and I've been have, for the past 8 years, all of us have a little bit of background in various things. Was gotcha gaming, RPG gaming, like, was that kind of like your first, like, kind of big joy, or were you into like first player shooters growing up? Did you play strategy games, real time strategy? What kind of games did you enjoy playing growing up?
Okay, so growing up, I have two different kinds of genres that I love the most. Well, obviously we all have had like MMORPG experience, right? But that was not really the most for me. Mostly because like the growth was slow and it's really grindy and you had to actively play, right? Um, but for me, I think what I really enjoyed the most were strategy games.
Sure.
So stuff like tower defense. And I'm not sure whether you are familiar with Scare. Do you know what that is?
I don't think I've heard of that
It's
game.
like never. Okay, it's a PlayStation game, so it's basically like Final Fantasy Tactics,
Okay.
but anime. Yeah, kind of. And the other genre is music-based games. Yeah, but actually had no, like, that had no relation to me playing Dislyte. Dislyte is more like a strategy game for me. But I used to play stuff like DJ Max, like Tap Tap Revenge, that kind of, not Tap Tap Revenge, but like actual console music games. Yeah, so it were like these two main genres, so to speak. So yeah, a lot of strategy games. I love strategy because like it gives me time to think, especially with turn-based games. So like Final Fantasy, Disgaea, or like Final Fantasy Tactics, this kind of like games that fit this category. Yeah, it gives me time to think and to plan and to make the most efficient moves, so to speak, right? To plan your steps ahead. So that's what I really like. I'm not a fast thinker. Yeah, so that's actually one of my main flaws that I know I have. So, like for example, in first-person shooters, I suck at it because I cannot react quickly.
Sure.
Or like Dota, I cannot react quickly. Like I know exactly what I need to do, but in the heat of the moment, I'm done. I'm screwed. So when like if RTA comes around, I might like mess up.
That's actually what I was gonna say too. When it comes to Summoners War, maybe I got to count to be a consistent top 300 player, but ultimately I'm the same way. I cannot react as fast as I need to be. The people, they get the jump on me, and then I just at the end of the day, it just comes down to that picking and banning, and if I mess that up, it's very, very hard for me to come back here. I do a lot of mess up, but the good thing about it is like you said, I kind of generally know what I'm supposed to do. So if I mess up and I don't act accordingly, by the end of the match, I kind of realize what was wrong and what I got to do to fix that for the next match here. So yeah, very, very cool, very, very cool. But let's go ahead and get back into Dislyte here, because that's what I love to do when it comes to interviews. I like to go in all these little circles and loops. I want to just give you a little roller coaster ride because I'm always curious about what's going on inside your head here. Dislyte has had an interesting ride, to say the least, especially since the global launch here. A lot of cool things that have happened, a lot of uncool things that have happened. I would love to know your current state of the game, your thoughts on the current state of the game, because again, there's just so many things to talk about. The amount of content there's in, the quality of the content there's in right now. What do you think about the game right now as it is?
Okay, so generally, I know there are a lot of people with complaints regarding like the summoner rates and all that, but let's be honest, you're from Summoner's War, you know that the rates here are not that bad.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's the rates technically are a little bit better, percentage wise. Right. We never had any kind of banner summons. In
you never had
Summoners War
PP as well, right?
We never had what? No pity summon as well. So anybody from Summoner, truly, I'll be right there with you. I might get slapped in the face by my community here, but I'm there with it. We really shouldn't be too mad. If you're one of those people that came from Epic 7 or other games similar to that did have like banner summons, you compare banner summons to this one. Yes, the banner summoning aspect in this game, not really the greatest. They need a little bit of work on that, but just overall the PvP content, the dungeon content. What do you think about that?
Okay, so regarding just overall content for Dislyte, I do feel like we are currently at a place where there is not a lot of content. I do feel like there could be more content. So, for example, we currently only have the ritual miracles and the cube miracle, which is like it's kind of repetitive. So every single week, you kind of see like the same few teams that you're facing. And as for temporal tower, yes, it changes every single month, but it's mostly the same as well. Like the disruptions shift around and all that, but at the same time, you're mostly facing the same few difficult flaws with like very specific like teams that, like for example, triple height, double height, single height. It's always a height, or maybe like a Sienna, maybe Cecilia. Very usual, typical comps, right? And a lot of Loyans as well. So there's usually just those few strategies, those few ways that you can take to beat the temporal tower until this month. Okay, until this month when they ramped up the stats of everything in the tower, so things got a lot more difficult. But aside from those, that's just basically all the content in the game. Yes, you have Holo Battle, you have Point War, but that's it. There isn't a world boss, there isn't like a club boss. If you're gonna go by more modern gacha games, kind of like their approach to creating a game, they tend to have a lot more of like community content, like for example world boss, right? And maybe bosses that appear every week or something like that. I'm thinking of like Konosuba, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, or like maybe even like housing aspects. I know this is not for everyone, but there is like this one little place in my heart that I reserve for games with like a housing content, so to speak, so that like when you are like very bored of grinding, you can do something with your characters, for example, right? Yeah, so I mean, I'm not asking for all of this, but I'm just thinking that based on the other games that there are in the market right now, in order for it to be competitive, well, I'm not asking you to add tower defense into your game, but I think Dislyte can improve itself by having more spread. And of course, I haven't even started talking about the DJ contest and how there are just a few songs, but of course they are still adding to it. But I feel like that's something that they can expand on as well.
Yeah, something a little bit different, something to mix it up. I like when I first saw DJ contests, I'm like, nah, that's okay. I ain't gonna waste my time. But then when I ran out of energy to refill, had everything on auto farming, I'm like, I got summoners war on my different devices. Like, what do I do? Like, I'm gonna try this little DJ thing, and I started doing. I'm like, well, it's not as hard as it seems. And then they went into hard, and I'm like, wow, I suck, but it's kind of cool to like practice or whatnot. So yeah, wouldn't that be fun to like be able to mix it up and just mess around with that, on stream or whatever like that, and have people have fun? I think it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
I think,
but that's just for the content.
Yeah, I think right now, I mean, state of the game for me, I pretty much echo, the majority of what you say. I would definitely love to see a little bit more diversity among some of the units here. I know we have some that are fairly niche here, but I know when I first came into the game, I was able to take the first 5 units that I basically 5-starred and kind of take on most of the content that the game had to offer. Mind you, I will admit I did have Lin Zhao. Lin Zhao's busted as heck, but I think that if I switch it out for another unit out there, I mean, because at the end of the day, she's a damage dealer, right? I think I could have done fairly well. So I hope we can see a little more variety. I hope that they don't jump just straight into just promoting new 5 stars every single banner. One of the things that Summons War do, especially early on, was they introduced, not just the 5 stars, but the 4 stars and even the 3 stars. They don't really do it too much right now. It's just 4 stars, 3 stars. But I would like to see some additional 3 stars come into the game so that our free to play people can get up in there. I don't know if I can get to it. You can't see this right here. Did I get it? No, I did not. Oh my god, that's what I get for trying to get that during the interview, right? I would like to see some more. I'm so sad. I still have not got my Dahlia XL, but I would like to see more. I would like to see more. Free to play options for the community. Some 3 stars, 4 stars, and again, if they introduce like a 4-star, having one in the event that we can obtain, down the road. Yeah. Anyways, that's kind of my opinion on it. So we'll see what they do down the road. But now, considering, all the things, the pros and cons that we talked about this game, we got we got people listening in the back end, or at least I like to pretend that they're listening to my channel. You know, you've had a good amount of time to think about all the ins and outs of the game, and there's a lot of things that you and I as a content creator would love to see change. But if you could change one thing about the game that you would think would impact it in a big way, what would it be and why?
I want to say Ripple Dimension, and not because you brought it up, but it's something that really matters a lot to me as well. I feel like it's not very fair. I don't think that this is like the main thing for me. Um, I'm gonna piss some people off by saying that I feel like the banner events should have better rates, like just like 50% chance for the banner Esper, for example. I mean, of course, this is not going to be part of your not part of your video,
Right.
so I'm going to say it properly. I feel like that's the one that means more to me because it has to be exciting, and as much as I would like to say that this game comes from Summoner's War, like it adapts a lot of things from Summoner's War and all that, and Epic 7 as well, and Raid. But at the end of the day, I feel like if he wants to compete in the current market and the current fast-paced gacha world, so to speak, I think it has to live up to a lot of the expectations
Sure.
of the new age players. And I think what they are failing to grasp is that a lot of their players don't actually come from Summoner's War. Because from my comments, it is extremely clear that a lot of them don't even know what Summoner's War is. They don't even know that you had like a 0.5% chance for a legendary or like an at 5. And they don't understand that the number of gold records that we get per month in this game is tremendous.
Yes,
We get about 60 plus, like 60 to 80 if you are going to include like paid currency, right? So it's a lot. You are almost guaranteed a single legendary every single month. But I think most people don't see that. What they see is like, oh, but this other game does it better. This other game has like 5% rate. This other game has like 10% rate. This other game has like a 1 in 10 PT for like your epics, for example, right? I mean, you can choose to add this into your video if you want to.
You're good. You're good.
So yeah, I do feel like maybe the banner events can be a little bit more attractive because of how modernized most games are right now. Summoner's War is 8 years ago, right? So it's not the same as some of the newer titles right now. Yeah, like I talked about, that has a much more engaging rate that makes people feel like, oh yes, I want to come back and play again. I want to summon again and all that. But now most of the comments that I'm seeing is like, like what's the point of like saving all these gold records if it's gonna be trash?
Right.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm more statistical in my approach. So if I fail to summon something, I don't blame myself for it. Yeah, I don't blame anything.
Sure.
I don't blame anyone, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that is the one thing that I would like to change, just to improve the chance of getting the banner Esper to, I don't know, 50% or something like that. Oh, and the epic Espers as well. What happened to the epic Espers? Like, why do they not have a rate up? I feel like every new Esper should have a little bit of a rate up, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not so much. I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on the improvement of the rate up from 10 to 50%. Maybe you can make an argument to make it a little bit better. I don't think people should have to drop 300 to 400 summons just to get a 10% bonus, right? But that, like, the 50% might be a little bit too high for me. That being said, though, I do see an argument to make a little bit of improvement there for sure. And I kind of want to get back into your original comment that you made. I think the Ripple Dungeon, without question, or the Rippledimensions are without question one of the things that they need to improve, because they did a good job with making certain free-to-play units out there really, really good, obtainable, but it's just a pain to get them. And so I like the fact that they have those kind of secret dungeons or the Rippledimensions there, but the chances of you trying to click it, and getting it, I mean, it's just outrageously low. So they could do one of two things. They can just improve the way at which we can obtain them, or they can increase the amount of people that can, jump into each dungeon here. But yeah, overall, I'm kind of right in line with you. A couple of improvements.
They did that though.
Huh?
they actually increased the capacity of Suhua dungeons from 20 to 30,
Ye-
like very recently.
Yeah, I said. Another
So
thing.
they, yeah.
I saw the change, but I don't know if it's enough. I still feel like I'm still having a hard time clicking on it. Maybe I'm just slow. I got the case of the fat fingers or something. I don't know. I mean, look at my fingers. I don't know. I just got to be quicker. I can't react as quick as other people. I got typical player. I just got to complain about something. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much kind of the questions that I have for you. As always, I gotta throw out that curveball. The question that you definitely are not going to be expecting. So there's probably going to be another edit here with to give him a little bit of time to figure. So as a content creator, as a YouTuber, back in the day, one of the things that I've been known for is connecting with a lot of influencers out there. Helping them out, promoting them, and getting them involved, trying to figure out anything and everything that they need to kind of be successful. And one of the things that I noticed with you coming up here, you've gotten into a couple of games, and it's kind of been, like I said, it's kind of been a roller coaster of stuff. You tried it, certain games, certain games did a little bit better, certain games a little bit worse. But despite the issues, despite the adversity that you had, you still stuck in there. You still found the game that you love, and now, like I said before, you're literally growing to a position where at one point in time, probably sooner than later, you can utilize this as a very strong primary source of income. The views, the amount of getting, the engagement that you're getting, the revenue that you can be obtained. Again, I know a lot of people out there, they're not going to really know about how much a person like that, if free to play, can make. But I'll tell you this: we're not going to go into numbers, but he's doing outrageously well in comparison to what he did in previous games out there. So now that you've kind of flipped everything around and things are looking really, really promising for you in the near future, is there anything that you want to share, just kind of, your own personal advice for anybody out there that has been maybe struggling to kind of find their niche in whatever it is, content creation or something that they've just kind of, destined to, try to take on, just any kind of words of advice you have for anybody out there looking to follow
Right.
their dreams.
Um. What I can say is you can refer to some of my oldest videos, and you realize that I suck. Like back then I did not even know what I was doing. I stop a lot when I speak, and I don't know how to edit and all that. So the general quality of my videos back then were really bad, really, really bad. Okay, you can go ahead and look at my videos. So what I'm gonna say is that anyone who has a phone and who has time, and if you enjoy playing whatever that you are playing, and there is something that you'd like to share, then just do it. There is you're not gonna lose out in any way, right? Unless of course you show your face like me, and then if you say something stupid,
You
then
become a
that's
meme.
it.
You're a meme. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna lose anything, right? You can do it and just try it. So that's why I have one clubmate called Kovian, and I have another friend on Dislyte called Death Punk, and I love to promote their content because I want them to try and to try harder, and I want to give them the support that they deserve. And I would just like to help other people who were in my shoes as well, because
Yep.
honestly, before Dislyte, I was at like I think 4K subs, and most of them, half of them were from Calibria, and the other half were from World Flipper, which was the game that I was covering just before this game. Until I decided to jump ship, right? Yeah, so it's just keep trying because it is a hit or miss. So you eventually either capture some audience that who cares a lot about what you want to say and what you think. And the worst thing that could happen is that no one looks at your stuff, and you're not gonna be embarrassed when no one is laughing at you, right? So yeah, you're not gonna lose out anyway. So just keep trying, and eventually you realize that it's easier for you to communicate. So right now, it's not. I'm not good at communicating. I won't think that I'm able to piece together words or like maybe verbalize my thought process that accurately, that well. Definitely not in the way that I would like to, but I'm sure maybe Childish could advise differently. But I'm sure he improved a lot over the years as well. Yeah, I think that goes for everyone. So you will improve. So if you are still waiting, then if you are still hesitating, then just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess I kind of add on to it because again, I think you kind of hit it on the net, hit the hill on the net where it's like we're not we are not perfect, nor do we claim to be. We made a lot of mistakes along the way, and it's funny enough. One of the things that I really relate to as a content creator for you is my imperfections. I always make a joke about the fact that my way of articulating, I wanted to throw the word articulate because I don't even like to use that word. Like I'm one of those people that like I say a phrase or use a word and that's generally not used, and I look at them and like, is that the right word? Like I don't even know if I'm saying it right. I'm very basic when it comes to my vocabulary. I just the knowledge, my overall knowledge and uses of words is not really good. And you would think as a content creator, how would why are you doing this? Because, you're like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be able to express your way in a way that everybody can get it and whatnot. So I basically just kind of chalked it up to, I realized that, I basically fail a lot when it comes to making YouTube videos. And I literally use that as a part of my brand. The Epic Fail community has grown. That I literally, the epic fail aspect is something that I've essentially carried on through not with just regards to content, but with regards to anything. If I fail in a video, I don't cut it and throw it away. I literally keep it in the video just to show everybody that, I'm not perfect. I'm relatable. Like, this is who I am. I literally fail every single day, and I'm okay with that. I embrace it. I just use it as fuel to be, 1% better than the previous day. So as long as you are, doing your thing, obviously seeing the adjustments, learning from your mistakes and making the adjustments. I think at the end of the day, you can be very successful. Now, I kid you not, I'm sure there's going to be a couple of people that are seeing this who's like, oh, wow, yeah, maybe I can grow if I just get an interview from Childish, an interview from Daddy Free to Play or Vulcan, whoever, like, it doesn't matter. That's great and all, but it's not really going to help you. You still have to do the work on the back, and you still have to do the research, learn the ins and outs on YouTube and take the time to do it. Get the basics that you need to get when it comes to OBS, to video, audio. You got to learn the basics. There has to be a little bit of work that you got to do on your back end to be successful. But once you figure that out, once you figure out what it is that you can provide to your target audience, provide that, and then see what your audience, how your audience responds, and then kind of cater to that. I think anybody can do absolutely amazing, regardless of whatever you provide. You can make it work. So that's really all I got to kind of add to your thing. But I think you covered it really good there. Again, Daddy Free to Play. Gosh darn it, man! It's so good to finally have you on the channel. Thank you so much for coming on board and doing this collaboration with me. Any last words you want to share with the community?
Don't lose faith in Lilith games. They are not known to be scummy. They are known to be very generous, and they may make mistakes along the way because this is not an actual title that they are used to. So they generally cover, like, they have all kinds of different kinds of content. They have like AFK Arena, they have Rise of Kingdoms and all that. They don't share a same niche, right? So they are going to make mistakes along the way, but I'm sure they're going to improve. So every single patch note that they release, they tend to fix something. So don't lose sight of that. Okay. That's basically it. Yep.
Sounds good. So yeah, as always, guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave Daddy Free to Play's link for you down below for the 0.0000108% of people out there that are not subscribed to you already. If you're not, congratulations, you just got an extra 2 subscribers. But for all of you guys out there that have been supporting Daddy Free to Play as well as myself, on behalf of both of us, thank you guys so much for your support. It's been a blessing to continuously be able to provide content for you and be able to grow and essentially, one day, possibly be a full-time YouTuber stream, provide not just this game, but a variety of games that you guys enjoy for you guys on the regular basis here. So that's going to be it, fam. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's your boy Childish and Daddy Free to Play with ChildishPlays checking out. Take care, and we'll see you guys in the next one. We're out.